Hello, my name is Dawn, and welcome to today's vinyasa practice for balance. I call it Welcoming the Wobbles. I actually have a pretty hard time with balance, especially in a room that's shorter like this. I feel like if I'm in a very open area that I have an easier time with my balance poses. But I don't think it's a physical thing for me. I do think it's like a mental connection. So today we're going to be working on some balance poses. We'll begin in some stretches, challenging ourselves on the floor a little bit. And then as we get up onto our feet, you may want to have something like a chair available. It can be a wall. So a lot of times, and you may have seen me previously in other videos, that if I do lose my balance, I'll just put my fingers on the wall to regain my steadiness and then I continue. But I'm just putting the chair here today so that you can see how that works. So if you do have a chair, make sure that it's not going to slide anywhere. It's steady, that you have its feet on the mat. If it is going to slide, then maybe just move yourself closer to a wall. Or even like a piece of furniture that you can just get your fingertips on. I also have a couple pair of blocks here. So we will be going into plow pose today. So putting your feet up and behind you while on the floor. An alternative of putting the chair at the front of your mat is you could start with the chair in the opposite direction. So the seat facing you in the back so that you could bring your feet onto the chair. That's up to you. Otherwise, you could put a couple of blocks here just to bring the ground a little closer for your feet. And other than that, I think we can go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and get into a comfortable position. I'm starting in hero's pose. If this is uncomfortable for you, you could snag one of those blocks and sit on a block, or maybe get a blanket in between your feet and your bottom. And then gently just putting your hands, palms down on your thighs and your knees. Maybe bringing your shoulders up to your ears and just letting them fall back and away from your ears. Looking to see you have a nice tall spine, maybe tucking your chin in just a tiny bit. And just becoming aware of your body. What's touching the floor, where your hands are touching your legs. How it feels to have your spine extended as it is. The difference of your shoulders when we started to when we allowed them to relax. Maybe noticing your heartbeat and where your heart is starting now. And watching your breath. And if you had your eyes closed, you can gently flutter them open. We're going to take a long, slow, deep breath in as we open our palms out to the side, allowing our palms to touch. Exhaling, bring our hands down to heart center. Let's do that again. Long, slow, deep breath in as we bring our hands up. And exhale, bring our hands to heart. And let's go ahead and inhale our hands up. And allow your right hand to drop down to the side and coming into a side stretch. We'll take a breath here. And then an inhale. As you exhale, you're just going to come across the front to the other side. Inhale your hand up, taking a breath. And exhale to the other side. And then just being continuous now. Inhale as the hand comes up. Exhale as you move across. Inhale your hand up. Exhale across. One more time on each side. Coming back up to neutral, we're going to inhale our hands up. Exhale, allow your fingertips to walk you into a child's pose. Just resting your hands on the mat, your forehead on the mat, maybe creeping and walking your fingertips forward, deepening that stretch ever so slightly. Continuing to breathe. Two more breaths here. On your next inhale, we're just going to lift the forehead and then walk the hands to the right side. So hands are side by side, reaching your fingertips away from you. If you want to go a little deeper, you can hop your hips a little bit over to the left side. Breathing deeply into those left side body areas. Two more breaths here. On your next inhale, we're going to walk our hands back to center. Exhale, bring your hands to the left side. Again, if you want to go a little deeper, just hopping your hips a little over to the right side. Pushing down into your palms, fingertips reaching away. Breathe. Two more breaths here. On your next inhale, coming back to center. Allowing yourself to roll back up to a seated position. And once you're back up to neutral, we're just going to inhale our hands up. Exhale, taking your left hand to your right knee and your right hand behind you. We're going to inhale our torso or spine nice and tall. Exhale, gaze over that back shoulder. Inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, deepen. One more breath. Inhale, unwinding as we bring our hands back up above our heads. And we'll take it to the other side. Right hand to left knee. Inhale, nice tall spine. Exhale, take your gaze over the back shoulder. Inhale, extend. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, extend. Exhale, deepen. Take one more breath. On your next inhale, unwinding, coming back to center, and just putting your hands on your thighs for one moment. Taking a few breaths, grounding down. From here, we're just going to untuck our feet so that we can come to the center of the mat. We're going to be coming into our boat pose, so our first balance position. Just coming up onto your toes to start, and really allowing yourself to just walk yourself to where you feel comfortable in these balance poses. So you could start here with your hands behind your knees. From here, bringing your toes up, maybe releasing your knees and putting your palms forward, or maybe extending into a full boat. Your ribs and your pelvis should be moving towards each other. It can be helpful to find a drishti. Just breathe. See if you can release your shoulders away from your ears. 3 more breaths here. And then allowing your feet to come slowly with control down. Just going to scoot our bottom a little bit forward. And then we're going to roll down onto our backs. So once you're down, we're just going to bring our feet straight up. Maybe giving your feet some rotations here. We're sitting on them for a little bit. Maybe scrunching your toes and letting them go. Pointing your toes and flexing. And come into stillness. See if you can allow your back body, your shoulders and your arms to be heavy. Although you're holding yourself in this position, there's not much to hold here. Now we're going to be coming into our plow. So there are different ways to start this, but you could take your feet and just bring them back into that plow position, coming back onto the blocks if you're going to use them. Or another option would be to come down into a bridge. So lift your bottom, walk your hands underneath your sacrum area. And once you get there, just pick maybe one knee off at a time. Sorry, mic problems here. Maybe lifting one knee off at a time, and you can stay in this bent knee position, just getting your body used to. Or you could then extend your toes. Remember, if you have a chair, you can put your feet up higher on the chair, or you can come down on the blocks, or you could come all the way to the floor. Once you're in plow, you're just going to breathe. You can take your hands and interlace your fingers behind you, and maybe walk your shoulder blades underneath your back. Continue to breathe. If you'd like, you can bend your knees and allow your knees to come on the side of your forehead. If you have your knees beside your head, we're going to come back into plow. Putting your hands at your lower back, we're going to raise our feet, maybe one at a time or two together, into shoulder pose. Shoulder stand, rather. And if you can't hold shoulder pose, of course, this whole time you could have your knees tucked in. You could always come out and go back into a bridge, or even just a shavasana would be okay. From here, we're just going to allow our legs to open. So again, just challenging that balance a little bit. And then if it's within your practice, you could come into a lotus. Just breathe. Unwinding the lotus, we're going to come back into our plow one more time. And then once you find your plow, we're not going to stay. We're just going to allow ourselves to roll out of the plow, one vertebrae at a time. Once you get your feet back up so they're facing the sky, you could either bend your knees as we come into a bridge, or challenge your core by allowing your feet to come down ever so slowly. Then stepping your heels close to your hip bones, your sitting bones. We're going to come into a bridge. So just to counter that shape of the spine we were just in, pushing into your heels, inhaling your hips up to the sky. Maybe interlacing your fingers and walking your shoulder blades under your back. Continue to breathe. And take 3 breaths here. Hips a little higher. Squeeze those legs together. And then lowering with control your hips down to the floor. We're just going to take our knees in and give them a good hug, maybe bringing your forehead to your knees. And from here, we're going to lay our head down for a moment, and taking your hands underneath your knees, we're going to roll like a ball. So we're going to roll like a ball 3 times, and on the 4th, we're going to stand onto our feet. So begin by rolling without allowing your feet to touch the floor. After that 3rd roll, use your momentum to stand right up onto your feet. So this puts us in place in front of our chair. Again, you want to make sure your chair is not going to slide, so definitely give it a push or 2. You don't have to use a chair. You can continue the balance as normal. Before we actually go on to our next poses, I'd like to go ahead and do a couple of vestibular exercises so you can continue to be standing facing the front of your mat. I'm just going to turn to face you. So with your feet together into our mountain pose, get a nice tall spine. We're going to begin to challenge our balance just by closing our eyes. And just notice what you notice. Welcome any wobbles. Allow your body to figure it out. If you need to open your eyes, that's totally fine. And then from here, we're going to flutter our eyes open. And we're going to begin just by looking to the left without moving your head, and then looking to the right. We're going to do that 2 more times on each side. You can move at your own pace, connect it to your breath. Inhale to one side, exhale to the other. Next, we're going to turn and look over our right shoulder. And as you're turning, you can really let your eyes take in what you see as you turn. Notice how other objects tend to move as we turn our head like that. If you want to go a little faster, you can. Again, connecting breath to movement. 1 more time on each side. And then we're going to take both thumbs out in front, and you're going to focus maybe the wrinkles of your thumb. And we're going to take our eyes and then lock it to our thumb. So you're going to leave your left thumb forward as you move the right thumb to the right, and your gaze is going to follow it. You're going to bring it back. Gaze switches to your left thumb as you move to the left. Again, moving at your own pace, just challenging our brain power here, our vestibular system. 1 more each side. Connecting your breath to movement. Staying relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. From here now, we're just going to take that right thumb and we're going to still go to the right, but upwards. So again, allow your vision to lock onto those wrinkles of your thumb, and you're just going to bring your thumb up and back, and then back to center. Same for the left. We're going to repeat that 2 more times on each side. Connecting breath to motion. Relaxing the parts of your body you can relax. Really allow those shoulders to move away from your ears. As we come back to center, we're going to take that lock onto the right thumb, and this time move down. Two more times on each side. relaxing your hands down to your side. Now you're just going to take a step forward with your right foot so that your right heel, and you might want to be by your chair for this, your right heel can be touching your toes, or if that's too difficult, you can step forward and bring some space. If you have to, you can also widen. Everyone's kind of at a different place, but bringing your feet in as close to a line as you can. We're going to do the same thing. So from here, we're just going to look to the left. Look to the right. You might notice one side gives you some more wobbles than the other, but wobbles are okay. It's not a sign of weakness, it's just our body needs to map that out. Okay, one more time on each side. Welcome those wobbles. We'll step back to center, and this time the opposite foot forward. Again, one side's going to be harder than the other. You can always adjust, so I'm going to widen my stance on the side just a little bit. And then again, looking to the right, looking to the left. 2 more times on each side. Connecting breath to motion. Try to relax your shoulders away from your ears. Welcome the wobbles. Okay, so now we're going to be coming into some balance poses, and you might want to change your positioning to the chair depending on where you are. To start, we're going to be just bringing our knee to our chest, so you may want to put opposite hip. So we're going to start with the right knee up, so ground down into your left foot, and then pulling your right knee up towards your chest. Now, if I have to hold the chair, I just hold my knee with one hand and challenge yourself, right? Can I just balance myself by putting a finger on the chair? Or do I need to put all my weight into the chair or the wall, whatever it is that you're using? And it's also okay if you have mostly your balance that you want to try just to have the chair there in case you need it. So we'll rotate our foot back and forth in each direction. And from here, we're going to take opposite hand. So again, you might want to turn the other direction so that you have the correct hand. And then you're just going to extend or move the chair to the other side. You're going to extend so that your foot is straight. You can have the other hand on your hip, finding your balance. Find a drishti point, a point to stare at. It locks you in. I find that if I don't have my drishti in the right area, it causes my balance to come off. That'd be like my foot not being centered underneath me. My drishti also needs to be in a balanced position. From here, you're going to take your hand behind you. So extending that arm out. I actually have to change my position because the wall is in my way. So extending my foot. Welcome the wobbles. Just breathe. We'll take one more breath here. If you want to challenge yourself, you can start to bring your gaze to that back hand. Again, if you fall out, just step right back in. Okay, we're going to lower this foot down. And from here, we're just going to come into a warrior 3. So again, the chair is here if you need it. It's good to keep a bend in that grounding leg. You can begin to take one hand off. Just breathe. Play with it. Give yourself that time that if you come out, that you can come back in. Finding the balance point between your head and your back foot, using your core to keep you strong. Coming back up, we're going to bring our knee down towards the floor. as we come into a dancer pose. So again, I'm going to use the wall because it's right here. But you could have your hand on the chair. And we're just going to start by stretching that quad. So having a nice tight core, think of your hip and your knee moving away from each other. When you're ready, bringing your front hand forward, maybe in a mudra of choice, and allowing yourself to come forward as you push your foot into your hand. You could also catch your ankle here. Maybe using the chair if you lose your balance or your foot is getting cramped, like mine. You can always come back when you regain your balance. And then with control, coming back to center, allowing your foot to come onto the mat. Really just shake that grounded foot out. Maybe pedal it out for a moment. And we're going to take that to the other side. So from here, let's take a breath. Feel your feet grounding down into the earth. Feel your spine grow tall. Maybe even open your chest to signal the confidence you have in your body. Allowing your shoulders to ease away from your ears. Grounding the opposite foot this time. When you're ready, we're going to bring the knee up into the chest. You can hang on to that knee with both hands or use one hand for balance, rotating your foot 3 times in one direction and 3 times in the other. From here, taking opposite hand. So this time I'm going to use the wall as my example. I could have a wall next to me and allow myself to come into this position. Nice tall spine. My foot is pushing into my hand. Hands are moving away from each other. Taking a few breaths here. If it's within your practice, you can begin taking your gaze towards that back hand. Bringing your gaze back forward, welcoming your wobbles if you fall out. From there, we're going to release the foot. I'm actually going to come back into that position so I can show you that. So releasing the foot, even if you have the wobbles. And we're going to come into Warrior 3. Having that chair here is helpful for me. So once I get into my position, in fact, I always find Warrior 3, it's easier for me to kind of come into Warrior 1 stance and then allow my foot to come up, or a crescent lunge first. And then play with how far forward your head is. Is your core being supportive? Having a slight bend in that front knee. Your hands could be out to the side. They could be in prayer. They could be out in front of you, holding onto the wall, the chair. From here, we're going to come up. And we're just going to bend the knee as we take a hold of the back foot. So again, nice tight core. Think about your knee and your hip moving away from each other. Core is nice and tight. And then coming into dancer. Maybe using your chair to start. And again, you may have that same thing with me. With me being this way, I really do struggle because the wall's so close to me. It's definitely a mental thing that I'm working with. If I flip the room, I'm a little bit better. If I go outside, I'm even better with my balance. So maybe take your balance practice outside just to see where you're at and try to figure out what it is that is actually holding you back in your balance position. If you can do it outside, you can do it inside. Again, welcoming your wobbles. Use your chair. Use the wall. See what it feels like to be in that balanced position. Start reducing how much you're holding on to the chair or the wall. Can I take my hand off for a bit? Can I find that drishti that can help me hold the position? With control, we're going to bring that foot back down. Again, maybe shaking out that other foot. And coming into a standing position, I'm just going to face you so you can see me here. So we'll come into our Tadasana. Nice tall spine. Really feeling the bottoms of our feet right now. Working the bottoms of our feet. How they can support all of our weight. And from here we're going to come into tree. So taking your right foot, and depending on where you are, you could just have toes on the floor. You could bring your foot up to your calf. You could bring your foot to your upper thigh. Wherever you are, you're going to find your balance. Again, use that drishti. Hands start in prayer. Then maybe opening out to a full tree here. If you want to challenge your balance some more, bring your hands together, so interlacing all your fingers but your index fingers. Allow those fingers to reach up. And then maybe challenging your balance by taking your gaze upwards. You can play with all those vestibular exercises in any of these poses. So beginning to try to move your gaze and notice how that affects you. Take another breath here. Lowering your hands down to heart center. We're going to cross that right ankle over the left knee and coming down. So although I don't have the chair in front of me at this point, I could have the chair in front of me holding onto the chair. You could always use your fingertips on blocks or the floor. Or you could just remain with your hands in prayer. Two more breaths here. Welcome those wobbles. When you let yourself wobble, you allow yourself to grow. You're learning. Okay, on your next inhale, we're going to come up. We're going to bring that knee up to chest height. And I'm going to use the chair for this next one. Knees up to chest height. And then from here, with hands on hips, you're going to extend that leg out and then allow it to come down. Maybe shaking out that other foot, tapping it on the floor, heel toe it back and forth. Okay, coming back, we're going to take that to the other side. So this time left foot is going to come to your position of choice. So coming into tree. Hands start at heart center. Maybe bringing your hands into a V for a full tree. Bringing your palms together, interlacing all your fingers but your index fingers. Maybe trying to take your gaze upwards. Playing with those vestibular exercises. Moving your head to the left and the right. If you fall out, you can come right back in. There's definitely one thing about balance poses is you can't rush back into a pose. You got to ground first. Find your balance. I keep on trying to rush back in so that you're not waiting for me. But you can come out of this pose. So from tree, bringing your ankle to the other thigh just above the knee and pushing your bottom back into this standing figure four. Again, having the chair in front of you. Find that drishti. I keep losing my drishti. I look up at the screen, my notes, flexing that bent legs foot. One more breath here. Again, see, I looked at my notes and fell out. We're going to bring that knee up, bringing hands to hips, and extending that foot out in front of you. With control, bring that foot down and shaking out the other foot. From here, we're just going to heel toe both feet. They worked hard. And from here, we're going to come up onto our toes. And just breathe. Now maybe bringing some of those vestibular exercises, either moving your eyes or your head, seeing how that challenges your balance. And from here, maybe hands are on the chair. Otherwise, we're going to get our balance and bring our bodies down, staying up on our toes into this crouched position. Nice tall spine here. Feel those toes grounding. We're going to turn our whole torso to the left. Coming back to center. Take the whole torso to the right. Coming back to center. From here, we're going to allow ourselves to come onto our heels and onto our bottom as we move right into butterfly. I'm going to push my chair a little bit away, just give myself a little room, maybe scoot back a little bit. And from here, we're going to have a nice tall spine, maybe digging your thumbs into your feet here. Just giving yourself a little bit of a massage. And then we're going to relax our hands. We'll bring our shoulders up to our ears, rotate the shoulders back and let them fall down our backs. Nice, tall, extended spine. We'll take a breath in together. On your exhale, we're going to begin to lean forward, but keep that spine like there's a rod attached to it. Nice, tall, extended spine. Keep holding it. Maybe extend it a little more. See if you can come down a little bit more with that extended spine. And then you're going to allow your whole upper body to soften. Maybe bringing your forearms to the mat in front of you. Allowing your upper body to be heavy. Feel your spine curving. Just breathe. If your body wants to come down a little further, maybe using your hands as a pillow. Again, just relaxing. If flat hands is too far away, you could always do two fists. You could always use a block under your two fists. Just really looking to surrender here. On your next inhale, we're going to bring ourselves up. Just check your positioning. I'm going to scoop my bottom forward a little bit, leaning forward, and then allowing your back to come down one vertebrae at a time. And then in this reclined butterfly, you can have your feet as close or as far from your hips as you'd like. Maybe tucking your shoulder blades under your back, allowing your legs and your knees to be heavy. Arms are heavy. Really let go and let the ground hold you here. Those of us that are challenged by balance, I think we overwork in our balance poses, so now's your time to just let go. Allow your body to be held, supported. Feel every piece of your back that's touching the floor, your hips, your glutes, your feet. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. On your next inhale, if you want to use your hands to help lift your knees back up, and we're just going to take the knees into the chest. A nice big hug here, maybe bringing your forehead towards your knees, but also okay just to leave your head on the mat. Just pull those knees in. Think about, rather than your knees moving to your armpits, think about your thighs moving into your belly. Loosening your grip here. We're going to take our feet up just a little higher so it's more of a 90-degree angle. You can take your arms straight out to the side or into a cactus. And then we'll drop our knees down to the left side. Your gaze can remain up at the ceiling, or you can take your gaze to the right arm. And just breathe, allowing every exhale to release a little more tension in your back or in your body in general. Relax your face and your shoulders. Let your hips be heavy. See if you can allow your back just to be in this position. Can you let go of a little more tension? We'll take 3 more breaths here. On your next inhale, we're going to come back up to center. So bring your gaze back up to the ceiling, legs back up to center. And then we're just going to drop our knees down to the right side. Gaze can be up to the ceiling or taking your gaze to the left arm. Again, just breathe. It's all you need to do. Every exhale, an invitation to soften, to release that long-held tension. Three more breaths here. On your next inhale, taking your gaze back up to the ceiling, bringing your knees up. We'll take one last hug here. And then we're going to allow our legs to come down for Shavasana. Now you do have a chair present today, so you could always put a blanket in the seat of the chair and rest your calves on top of the chair that way, just to have a different experience. But if you're just going to rest in our regular Shavasana, you'll have your legs out to the side, feet are heavy, toes moving away from each other. Maybe walking your shoulder blades under your back. Palms up, arms at your side. In this moment, just notice what you feel. We have prana moving in some new pathways. Our brain being challenged today. And now we want to let go so that we can absorb everything we've learned. So allow yourself to ground into your mat. Allow your body to be heavy. Just breathe. And you can begin to deepen your breath, feeling that movement coming from within. Maybe rocking your hands side to side as you bring some gentle motion to your fingers. Same for your feet and your toes. When you're ready, you can bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet onto the mat as you roll onto your side, maybe using your arm as a pillow. And we'll take a few breaths here. When you're ready, pushing into your hands as you come up into a comfortable seated position. Maybe leaving your eyes closed or your gaze softened. Getting a nice tall extended spine. Allowing your shoulders to sink away from your ears. And your sit bones to ground and sink into the mat. Just notice how your body's feeling here. And maybe fluttering your eyes open as we bring our hands out. We'll take 2 nice, long, slow, deep breaths in as we bring our palms to touch. Exhale, bringing your hands down to your heart. Do that one more time. Hands out to the side. Inhale a long, slow, deep breath in. Really reach your fingertips up here. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart. And bowing your head down to your heart, thanking yourself for showing up. And thanking yourself for challenging your body. Sometimes it's difficult to get into these balance poses. I know not for everyone, but for some of us. And that's just so much more gratitude for ourselves for showing up on the mat and trying. May you have a wonderful day today. Namaste.